Game on, everybody! Yep, we are back with the HeroesHype Premier Series, second qualification tournament of Season 2. Best of 3 series here today. And we have Feel the Heat going up against Feel the Heat. That can't be quite right. I mean, these guys might be good at multitasking, but they are not that good. So we are actually going to fix that right now because they're going up against the Vikings. In case that the two team names don't really ring a bell, don't panic right away. From Season 1 to Season 2, some of the teams reformed, some others just players joined together, and now we're actually having new teams. In this case, for example, Feel the Heat is now playing with X-Ray, and they switched sides again. Yeah, they keep me busy today, I gotta admit. They keep me a little bit busy. Earlier we had the teams rearranged in a different position, and then they switched over. So by now we have the overlay finally correct. My apologies for that. But yeah, on the left, the Swedes again. Berkult is playing with Smexy here. Make is in, and even Wubby is currently playing for them. So the Swedish team on Battlefield of Eternity, our first map, going up against Feel the Heat, which is a name that you might recognize already from the last HeroesHype tournament, the first qualifier in Season 2, or the team members at least should ring a bell as well. Wit was playing for Go Next in the last season of Division S. Kiewa should be a familiar name for you. X-Ray has been subbing in for multiple teams and doing an incredible good job. So I'm a little bit excited to see how far they can go here. They already had a nice performance in the last tournament. Vikings and Feel the Heat, I would say, were a little bit on the same level there, but obviously there's quite a bit of time that passed since then, so we should see improvements there. For Battlefield, we have actually the ban on Hanzo, and we see Gen banned out too, so still that menace on that off lane, with ETC now getting banned against Feel the Heat, and, well, ETC is still incredibly strong on Battlefield of Eternity. These days, you also see him sometimes with Vala, as she has been starting. She has seen a lot more play, actually, in Europe. Not so much in North America, but in Europe, at least, she is incredibly strong when it comes to competitive play, and that's obviously what we're talking about here. I mean, this is a competitive setup, so this is far removed from Quick Match Storm League and the compositions that you see there. And we're having the Malfurion pick as well. So, let's have a look at this. Li Ming, again, picked first. Make has been doing this for, I mean, months at this point, seriously. Battlefield of Eternity, it's just the first pick for them. If they don't go into Tyrande, they go into Li Ming. And there is our Vala, as more or less expected. In this case, together with Oriel, there's still a very good chance that we're going to see Tacita together with her. Maybe even Zarya, which oftentimes makes an appearance too. Garrosh taken on the other side, though. Keep in mind that, especially when we're talking about Swedish teams, we've actually seen the Garrosh and Zarya combination a few times on this map in particular, simply because you can get the speed barrier on level 4, have the movement speed advantage, and all of a sudden Garrosh has access to a throw on nearly every single hero that he can run up to, which is pretty solid there. Now, with that said, let's see what the bans are going to bring us, because I can totally see that we're having the Vikings ban our Tacita. That might be a good ban from them. And then the only question for me would be if Feel the Heat is actually willing to invest into a Zarya pick here. It comes down to the offlane now, though, for the Feel the Heat ban. They're banning out Ural here. Definitely quite some control. Keep also in mind that Garrosh obviously can throw into a Tyrande stun if Smexy follows up properly. Smexy by now, Fnatic's manager for the Apex team, is doing a great job there. And, well, what's the ban? Battlefield of Eternity, Make the captain, the one with the crown. What they're gonna lock in? Could it be Tacita? And it's Zarya instead. Told you. Either one of the two is gonna be taken here. And I expected the ban on Tacita and a potential pick into Zarya. And they decide that they would rather take Zarya away, let them take Tacita if they want to take Tacita, and play it from there. So now for Feel the Heat, are they gonna go straight into Tacita or not? That's the main question right now. There's Johanna. And Samuro for Kiewa. Going a little bit old school there. Yeah, he's been playing the hero quite a bit. So we already have our top laner set up for them. Still a pick on the last hero. Could reveal that second support coming through. It's definitely an option for them right now. And with this, what else are we going to see picked for the Vikings? I mean, there were, of course, a lot of changes in the recent patch as well. Small adjustments that Blizzard made, a couple bigger ones too. Kira not played, was obviously as usual banned for 2 weeks, and then the nerfs hit her hard, and now the teams don't consider her pick-worthy, apparently, at least not in this game. Berkult with Greymane, and Thrall is played by Wubby, the Wubster on the offlane, where you would expect him. Then again, as they had a team playing in Gold League in Taiwan just a few months ago, he was already playing in the main tank position. And screw Tassadar, instead we're actually getting Arthurs. Arthurs against Greymane, Arthurs against Thrall. So a setup for Feel the Heat, where they have now a dual option for the offlane, but a very heavy front line for them. And we are starting into game number 1 of the HeroesHype Premier Series qualification tournament here. Battlefield of Eternity, map number 1 in the best of 3. Game number 1, and on the left side of our first map, Battlefield of Eternity, we have Berkhold on Greymane. And as usual with the Swedes, it is no exception. The insta pause as the game starts. I actually don't really know what the problem is with these boys, but pretty much every single time that you see them play, it feels like it's just an inevitability that they will pause the game right away. Did Wubby all of a sudden fall asleep on the keyboard? Did Make have to go to the bathroom? We're not quite sure right now. We might find out, but let's introduce the players first. We have Smexy on Tyrande, so the Fnatic Apex manager, back to a little bit of Heroes of the Storm here. Make on Li Ming as usual, gonna look for those one-shot combos against the squishies, in particular on the opponent's side. Very likely with Seeker as a level 4 talent, so he has been deviating away from dominance for quite some time, not only on this map, but particularly here. Terror on Garrosh and Wubby on Thrall. So especially those two are going to suffer a little bit from the control that Taluf brings with Arthurs, as we are seeing him start on the front liner for Feel the Heat. Witten at the same time playing Johanna here. Has played a fantastic frontline in the Division S season in the previous one for his team, and is now part of the roster that we're seeing for Feel the Heat with Kiewa and Samuro, and that is going to be a really interesting one. Now the Samuro pick in general can obviously be a problem if you're trying to take structures down, you play around your opponent, use the global mobility here a little bit, but I'm honestly curious to see how much of an impact he is going to have with this. He can definitely put the pressure onto Tyrande and other squishies here, but they might try and play him a bit more from a macro perspective than anything else. Kolios at the same time, he is going to be the, so to say, hyper carry for them. There's no double support to help him out. X-Ray is playing Oriel, but they at least have a very, very strong front line here that they could use in order to bring victory and the safety for Vala here in particular. And we're back to business. Game is back up, and well, the players are ready. Apparently they had a couple of problems with voice. And let's see where we're going to go from here. So right now, the question was mainly, what is Samuro going to do? How much can Kiewa actually do in this setup right now? On the other side, the early game obviously is where we would expect, at least on the off lane, a little bit of action between Wubby and in this case, Arthurs. So Taluf is going to take the top lane here. Samuro could have taken it too. But especially with Samuro now starting to move down to the bottom of the map, it's going to become interesting how he is going to impact this. Because I could have totally seen Arthurs on the offlane as well, considering that Samuro, or that Greymane at least, is part of this. But let's find out and see. As expected, Echo of Elements on the top lane. In this case, there's no other offlaner that they could have sent topside. Thrall with a triple front line could have joined the bottom 4-man and then gone into the Trash Lightning, but didn't do any of that. So now it's the bot lane focus that we're looking at, and in this case, after level 4, it's going to be important for especially Vala that she is going to start and take a couple of stacks together. But Samuro has made the transition topside, and all of a sudden Wubby finds himself facing off against 2 opponents, and with Samuro being part of the mix, as you can tell, Wubby is having a rough time defending those towers. Granted, bot lane, it's a 4 versus 3, and that means immediately that we are having already a setup in which the towers at bot lane are suffering too. The question is just who pushes a little bit faster here. Interesting part is that now, actually, after we've seen that setup towards the top, Wubby could have gone into Trash Lightning after all, since you can stack on the copies as well. But obviously the initial setup looked very much so as if it would be an Arthurs against Thrall lineup, and the wall is gone. The wall is gone. 1 minute and 20 seconds in and the wall is completely destroyed. At the bottom of the map, it doesn't really look like the Vikings are able to push in as quickly as we see from Feel the Heat. So the red team is doing a fairly good job here. Really buying that time. Vala in a little bit of trouble as she gets stunned out too. But the heal is there. And top lane gets wrecked. Wubby having no chance whatsoever here. And it really slows down his progression on the quest on level 1-2. 2 stacks so far on the Echo of Elements. That's definitely Nothing that's in any way, shape or form where he would usually be if he had a little bit more freedom on the lane. And it forced the Vikings to rotate Greymane over. And that's a bit of a late transition if you are giving up on the 4 versus 3 advantage at the bottom of the map and think that you have to match your opponent's aggression topside. So now all of a sudden, we're having a setup in which, well, Backhold and Wubby are at least attempting to hold that fort. But let's not forget that the Fountain has already been eliminated. That's one fallback point that is usually highly important. And Maka is now rotating up too, but we have Samuro already busying himself at the camps, moving back in. Khaldor now with the level 4 can start his stacking. Talking stacks, Wubby on level 4 now also with the Wolf. Going into the Wolf pact and trying to get that assembled. But the first Immortal is on the map, or will be spawning in another 10 seconds. And here's even a bit of an invade towards the Shaman camp on the left side with popping the Iron Skin early. Terror wants to make sure that he gets something set up, and there it is. Immediately Smexy attempting to follow it up. The stun is ready, but the damage is not. So the slowdown on the camp, and therefore an early opening for Feel the Heat as they're going for the Immortal. And Garrosh gets the whip from Oriel, but not in the kicky kind of way, actually just pushing him out of the way here. As we're having the top side attacked again because Kiev was just saying Immortal? What Immortal? Are you kidding me? I don't need a fucking Immortal. I can just go for the fort by myself. Together with my buddy Arthas, which is going to ride into battle and take that down quickly. They're still trying to defend though, since all of a sudden the Vikings are a little bit more aggressive, but Terra's in trouble on Garrosh and has to get out of there. Immediately an attempted follow-up from Johanna with another condemn, but he could still move out of the way. The halftime show still ending up as a bit of a victory for the Vikings. But if you look at the top lane, there's a big victory for Feel the Heat now. And it seems like they're absolutely content to go for the race. Samuro went down to the bottom of the map and started to take down the Shaman camp. They seem perfectly happy to give up the first objective, and indeed they lose out on it, since we're having the Vikings taking the first Immortal. But generally speaking, there's a lot that the Vikings have to do now with that Immortal in order to draw even again, at least from a structural perspective. That fort is pretty much a goner. Thankfully for the Vikings, it's not destroyed yet, so it means there's no catapults spawning on the other side. But they have to really push this through if they want to even out the score. And it's not going to be easy with Samuro rotating in, and you can already tell that Arthas is sitting in the back. Yep, gets the lockdown, and Greymane is in trouble, trying to jump out here. They get the kill against Vala. The damage is already gone. They're still trying to go for backhold, but that's not successful, at least for now. They're still pushing them back, though. Good save from Terra as he throws Smexy out. But still, one kill for the blue team. Nicely done here. We have them on level 7, a little bit quicker too. The Immortal is still getting attacked here, and in the meantime, Thrall is sitting bot side, very much so alone, and can just chill a little bit, while that fort at the top is slowly but steadily defended against the Immortal pressure. Vala back to business, has now also the double arrow and is trying to utilize it. First one, second one, gets another stack in, and the quick pull against Smexy, and that should be a kill for sure. Johanna already moving in for the body block, and Toulouf is not far away either. They might even get the double kill if Terror stays along. But yes, there he is. Terror down. Tirana is also fallen, but at least the counter kill against Arthas. The problem is that Maka is in trouble, and once again, Oriel cracks the whip down as we have Samuro at the bottom of the map, starting to pull his place as well. Nicely done. Kieva is sitting tight. Top side, that's where we're having X-Ray currently in position. Also with the level 7, the moonlit arrows. And up to the top, there's the aggression against the camp. And with that said, we already heard earlier that Wubby and Breez are on LAN, which pretty much would mean that Terra is actually Breez on a sub account. But yep. Breez has been playing Smite, in case you didn't catch that, more or less professionally right now. He's actually been picked up by a pretty strong Smite team and is playing in the Premier League there. So a lot of the guys that transitioned away from Heroes of the Storm were very successful. I mean, obviously Psalm winning the second slot and $1.8 million at the Fortnite tournament was probably the biggest, but there's a lot of others as well. As the kill against Johanna, though, as we still have a bit of a fight over the next Immortal already unrolling, and just as it's announced. Level 10, a little bit quicker for Feel the Heat, most likely, if they continue down that path. But here comes the Samuro action, as they are moving in too. Oh, Garrosh with the Indomitable, and the kill against Oriel. One down, easy peasy. Vala still stacking 7 stacks now on the level 4, trying to get a little bit more than that. 2 stacks now also for the Whoopster on his level 4 on the Frostwolf pack. Not even done yet with the Echo of Elements. I talked about how he was slowed down at the beginning of the game. 7 minutes in and he still doesn't have it completed because of that Samuro and Arthur's action that we've seen early on. Halftime show seems to be ending in favor of the Vikings again. Terror is the one who slows this down a little bit, but yep, here it comes. The fight is raging on. Level 10 abilities are there, and Arthur just gets deleted. 1 second he's there, the next one he's gone, and Kolios gets saved by Oriel for just a second. Still down to 40 hit points. Oriel herself eliminated as Market gets just reset after reset. Tries to make the play for Kieva, but at least Samuro gets away, and the rest of the team is escaping too. But things are not looking too pretty for them now. Backhold even trying to interrupt Samuro again. And yeah, Garrosh hasn't given up on that yet either. So with that done, having 6 kills against 3, and the Swedes are really starting to get their act together, I gotta say. Playing fairly well here. A little bit of a shaky early game that we just saw there for a second. At this point now, bot lane is going to be the focus of the Immortal again. 4 topsiders obviously fallen previously, so technically speaking, there is still an advantage in terms of structures for Feel the Heat, but I can tell you one thing, they're feeling the heat for sure right now. Because this is going to be a little bit rough to stop. I mean, just look at that shield of that Immortal. That thing is an absolute badass. In comes the Immortal, and yes, that fort is a goner. The only question that remains is how much further can that be pushed? And Samuro, he's just sitting tight topside, and he wants to push this out. He has catapult support now too, which actually means that that wall is getting assailed very, very early. So, with that said, having a big push down here at the bottom of the map right now, and that needs Samuro's attention, I'd say. He has to jump down there eventually, but ooh, that's actually a problem. That mirror image got taken out, and Samuro is now more or less forced to stay at the top lane. Now that still gives them value, but it probably means that they're losing the keep down at the bottom of the map. The rest of the team is trying to burn it down as quickly as they can, even following up a little bit further. As we have Wit trying to create a little bit of space, gets thrown in again, and Johanna eats the bullet and goes down. The keep at the bottom of the map is a bit low. There's Oriel with the safe attempt up to the top. Samuro then again is trying to take this keep down too, and it looks very much like he is going to succeed there. In comes Samuro, and guys, this one is actually going to survive. This one is actually surviving. The problem is that Vala doesn't. Vala is down, but the keep is eliminated or will be any second. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, the keep! No way! I mean, Kieva, seriously, just go in and sacrifice yourself. What the hell? That is insanity. Keep at the bottom of the map is down. Keep at the top is getting saved by Wubby. And Samuro values his own life more than the keep. Not sure if I agree with that assessment. Then again, he can always send the copy and swap over and take it down a little bit later. So should probably not judge him too much there. I'm pretty sure we will see that one taken one way or another very, very soon. When it comes to the damage output, then again, you can already tell that Vala with the 20,000 is looking pretty good. But then again, yeah, 21,000 for Greymane. 27,000 for Li Ming. That's pretty much all that you need to know there. There's the copy as expected. Smexy is already trying to count it. Uh-oh, Samuro already moved in. There's the attack and moves away. Yeah. Good attempt. I mean, really well done by the Vikings, identifying quickly that Samuro is going to send something over. Smexy with nice pings there too. They can't get the kill, but at least they prevent the worst for now. Level 13 talents are ready for the 2. And obviously, even with the growing power of Samuro as a global presence, we now need Feel the Heat to focus a little bit more on the Immortal. I can't just sit tight the entire time here. We need to bring the action a little bit, and they're trying to race it, and this time they have pretty much everyone inside ready to take the Immortal down, and they do well. I mean, they actually won the halftime show. Haven't won the Immortal itself yet, but they're doing fairly well here. So we're going to see how that's going to pan out in the second phase of the objective, because you need to do a little bit more than just burn the shield down. The bullet missing this time, actually. Less shield coming out too, and they're saving Arthur's. That's something that they didn't accomplish in the previous fronts. We had good coordination from the Vikings. The chase is on though. Howling Blast. Here comes once again the Earthquake. Samura is all the way in the back and trying to get away from this one. Able to move out. Nicely done here. Army of the Dead already used to, and still the fight for the Immortal. And this time, Feel the Heat is looking much better. Coming in again with Iron Skin use. Kieva on the move, looking to see if he sees an opportunity in the back, if he can maybe sneak up to the keep, if he can do anything here. Still burning down the waves at the bottom of the map. And we have a bit of a problem for the Vikings as they're attempting to access the Immortal or Feel the Heat. Again, the throw into the middle. Kieva, does he have the cooldown? Doesn't seem likely. And he just moves away in the nick of time before he gets taken down. The Immortal is low, but Arthur's dies. Arthur's dies again, and now with the resets, they're going for Wit, and he goes down too. But they get the kill against Surrender, so at least the counter kill against Smexy successfully executed. They still haven't won the objective yet. Kolios is moving in. Vala on a mission. And that's that. Vala on the move away. Immediately trying to escape here. It's Immortal for the red team. The remaining question is obviously how much can they accomplish here. Vala gets out. That was an important one. And the Immortal moves down to the bottom. Important, obviously, lead to note that we have with Greymane a fantastic tool against her. A really, really fantastic tool. So that's something that they can bring to the table now. As they're trying to burn them down. 10 kills against 4. Up to the top. Still a bit of aggression against Wubby. And Samuro is saying like, well, I got this. It's actually not alone. We have a duo set up here. We have Wubby together with Garrosh doing their thing. Arrow is also completed. Bottom of the map. That's the aggression against the fort, and they're going to get this one. They still haven't gotten the key, but they might get Smexy. Smexy gets walked down by Arthurs, and that's a double kill as Greymane falls. Marke barely surviving. They're starting to break through this, and topside Samuro is about to finish what he started earlier. Moves in with a copy and delivers the final blow to the keep itself. Well played. Wall broken, Immortal down, but still the advantage in the game for Feel the Heat when it comes to the structures here. And we have them moving in again. The Vikings in trouble. Mini Fnatic is in trouble, but Vala is down once more without the double support. She's having trouble, dying 3 times now. The only one that hasn't fallen on the red team is actually Samuro. Marke is low and so is Garrosh, but both of them survive. Still a 4 versus a 3 at this point. And the aggression is ongoing as Samuro is just jumping from the top to the bottom. And there it is. Quest completion on the 16 now. For Garrosh. Thunderstorm, sorry, for Thrall. Thunderstorm, obviously, for him. Since we're talking about quest completion, it's kind of important to note. He never completed his level 4. At least not until now. And, well, they might be a little bit behind in kills. Actually, fairly behind. But with Samuro now taking control of the map, this is starting to become a bigger and bigger issue for them. Taluf with a lockdown attempt. Taluf actually sacrificing himself here as well. Or is he? Kieva is coming in too, and all of a sudden Wubby is in trouble. We might still see the kill against Arthurs, but there's the army as he pulls that one off. Kieva still fighting. In comes Liming. Liming getting attacked too. Arthur still alive, but Kieva goes down. Nicely done. The quest completed for Thrall now too, as they're starting to chase them down one after another. Kolios on Vala again in trouble, but the throw in for Marke towards the front as he's trying to get a little bit closer to the action. Another combo is hitting Arthurs and delivering the final blow there. Kolios turning around and at least getting the kill against Li Ming. That's something, but it's still a 1-for-3 trade. Make it a 1-for-4, and that could be a 5-man team wipe as they are going for wit. And the bullet coming out, but Johanna walking away. The core wide open, though, as there's a chance for Feel the Heat to lose game number 1. Even though they had the advantage in structures. Wit is trying to buy some time, but he's just getting murdered by Tyrande here. Now the shields are falling. Samuro going to be back in 5 seconds, but things are looking grim now for the red team. The Vikings with the late game coordination doing a fantastic job in the fight and delivering here. Well done as the blue team takes the victory in the first map of the best of 3 series at the HeroesHype Premier Series. Game on, everybody! The Vikings against Feel the Heat. Infernal Shrine is the map, and yeah, the Vikings turned it around. They were actually falling behind in structures on the map, but now we have the Vikings with a victory. And also, it got confirmed again, Terror is Breez. So he and Wubby are apparently at a Danish LAN right now, and are playing from LAN. don't really know what they're there for, but yeah, so they're participating with the rest of the Swedish boys here for the Vikings team. So Breez in the main. It's like a mini Fnatic at this point. I mean, we have Smexy in there, we're having Wubby, we're having Breez playing with the other Swedes. Obviously, feel the heat, especially with that Samuro choice for Kiewa was pretty annoying in the last game and nearly got a victory there. I was honestly afraid for the Vikings because I felt that with Samuro in the late game, Feel the Heat would have the upper hand eventually and could just apply pressure to structures instead of focusing onto the team fights. But that last battle really took everything out of Feel the Heat, and that 5-man team wipe that we saw there was just a bit too much for the red team to handle. But again, this is a best of 3 series, and we're going into game number 2. Chen is banned out again. We have the ban against ETC. That's something that Breez, of course, has played in the past on Infernal Shrines quite a bit, so that's what we're currently getting there. With that said, there's the ban on Vala this time, against, by the way, the Vikings. So there was definitely a chance that Maka jumps on the hero and tries to play it out with that. Vala, obviously, after the buffs, quite strong, but especially good when there's any kind of scenario where you need some area of effect damage in addition to the pressure against single targets. And Infernal Shrines is a great map for exactly that. And there we go, the Samuro ban. Is anybody really shocked? Not really. It's one of those heroes that you ban out when you know that your opponent has a bit of an affinity for it. And it's definitely true here with Kiewa. So there's the Malfurion pick, and Diablo gets picked immediately. I mean, Breez always happy when he gets to play Diablo. In his HGC career, he has destroyed many an opponent, many a team with Diablo, and the one-shots that he executed against Tracer players in particular during his HGC time were absolutely legendary. Usually ended with Diablo being insta-banned against them in the next map. But yeah, we have Dibbles in, we have Diablo comboed off with Jaina, which means that we're obviously going to see quite a bit of stunlock combos with potentially even Ring of Frost here in the late game. So that's one. And talking about Tracer, which can be one-shot by Diablo after 16 and the reset, we have Tracer. Tracer together with Malfurion and Tyrael. As much as Tracer lineups go, it doesn't get much better than that, so that's actually pretty awesome. I just want to see if Tyranda's getting banned out right now, or if Smexy's going to play Tyrande again and try and provide the edited stun and also the extra damage through the Hunter's Mark for the Diablo and Jaina composition, which could definitely be possible. And they forget the ban. Of course they do. Why doesn't that shock me? So no ban on their end, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Tyrande banned out now. Like a Tyrande ban would be the obvious ban to go for. Unless there is any other hero where you're really saying, okay, we are a little bit afraid here. And it seems that with Wubby in the mix, they're actually saying, hey, let's keep Tracer alive and make sure that there is no Zeratul against that. But that gives a lot of combo potential now over to the Vikings. And for Wubby, I could see something along the lines of also Leo here, which would allow them more AoE, more slows, more control, and also an Entomb to set all of this up. So there is a lot that they could pull off with this now. There's Ana, nano boost, fair enough. Different approach, but nonetheless extremely strong. And we have Greymane again, so Mako on the same hero once more. So Cursed Bullet setup would probably put everyone to an early test and potentially drop them in their grave. But let's see what else we have. With this we have now the last 2 picks coming in for Feel the Heat. And they are 1 map behind. I mean, this is a best of 3 series, so if they lose out on this one, then it's going to be rough for them. And they go for Blaze plus Hanzo. So Tyrael Blaze comp, the layered defense of Sanctification and Bunker. And the last pick for Wubby. What are we going to get on the offlane? Urel is open. They could go for Urel. Leo is a good pick here too. Both of them would be fantastic. There's obviously more that can be added. In the last game we saw him with Thrall. And it's the Haka time. Alright, interesting. Isolation as an option here for them. The Vikings in the lead. Infernal Shrines is map number 2, and we're heading in right away. And let's find out if Mini Fnatic can take down Feel the Heat without dropping a map here. Game number 2, everybody. Backhold for the Vikings on Jaina. We have Mako on Greymane, Smexy on Ana, Terror aka Breez on Diablo, Wubby on the Haka, And for the team on the right side, feel the heat with Wit on Tyrael, X-Ray on Malfurion, Toulouf on Blaze, the layered defensive with the Sanctification and the Bunker, Kolios on Hanzo, and Kirva on Tracer. Time to rock and roll, ladies. So, can the red team actually take a map from the Vikings here? The Swedes in blue. And yeah, that's the big question here right now. Can they actually pull that off? It's definitely not going to be easy by any means. I'm kind of hyped to see how Breez is going to do on Diablo here. Interestingly enough, he has the wrong tint. Maybe on this account he doesn't have the proper tint. Breez in particular is very, very peculiar about the the skins that you are allowed to play with Diablo, and that's definitely not one of them. He usually goes for the green one, and yeah, well, that ain't green. So that probably doesn't have it available on this particular account, and he also falls into a bit of a trap trying to get out there and is surviving all of this. Kieva actually diving in a little bit deeper, trying to deliver the final blow, unable to pull that off on the other hand. So a little bit of a problem. As things happen, we already have topside in a slight battle between Dehaka and Blaze, but the dinosaur is joining the fun at the bottom or in the middle of the map to make sure that he has a little bit more action going here too. Bottom of the map. In the meantime, Marcus single-handedly defending against two. X-Ray joined by Kolios here on Hanzo. And we're in for another fun match. First one was actually pretty cool. We had that Samuro factor that was eliminated in the draft immediately from the Vikings. But let's see what they can pull off here. Marco already low, needs to be... Yeah, right between the eyes. Okay, Hanzo is not messing around in this game. Jumping over, and they get the second kill. Bada bing, bada boom. Feel the heat with 2 kills early on. A little bit of action in the middle of the map, but Blaze with the jet propulsion is able to move out quickly. Obviously another hero that got changed in the recent patch, so not that much of a delay of a wind-up time when you're trying to go into the jet propulsion. And there it is, and Smexy's in trouble. On a little bit too far out, and the bomb misses. Oh my god, Kieva. Kieva missing the bomb, trying to correct for the mistake, and barely able to get out of there himself. But yeah, that was a missed opportunity for sure. So, top side, Dehaka still with an attempted kill against Toulouf. Didn't quite work out. When you look onto the kill board, it's still 2 kills against 0. But that missed opportunity against Ana, more than a little bit annoying, of course. So with that said, we're having level 4 talents for both players, and the shrine is getting announced with another 30-second wait time. Level 7 during the shrine phase would be pretty cool for them if they had a chance. Down here at the bottom, again the aggression against Tyrael, but he's able to jump out. And now the only question, who takes the first Immortal? Level 4 talent, by the way, with a parting gift, and level 1 the pulse strike for her. Here comes the lockdown against Make again, but not enough damage from Kolios on Hanzo. Went into the explosive arrows here. And, well, we actually have, therefore, a lot of opportunities around the minion waves and also the shrine minions for him. And here comes the aggression from the Vikings as they take the position on the shrine itself to give themselves a lead over their opponent on the objective, which doesn't quite work out just yet. And there we go. A bit of an attack against Make, and boom, straight in the face, the Tracer explosion. Just splashing that away. Now we're having Diablo trying to get out of there. Breez in a little bit of trouble as we're having Blaze with the jet propulsion, hitting 3, connecting nicely and stunning them out. But the pressure is there. And the red team is doing extremely well in the early stages of game number 2. 3 kills against 0. Level advantage soon over their opponent too. And it is, yeah, quite nice what they can actually pull off here. I mean, Wubby with the drag attempt that didn't quite pan off because the red team, disciplined as they are, at least in this early game, moved away since they realized there's very little to gain. But they have taken the Mortar Punisher now, and with the Mortar Punisher in their hands, there is an attempt to take the first fort of the game. Now, again, normally you don't really get the first fort here. If you break the wall down and get some damage onto, well, maybe the fountain, that's already considered more or less a win. But it seems like the defense is so strong that they might not even get that. With the help of Greymane, there's an easy attempt to take that down. As usual, the Swedes again with their little problems here and pausing the game right away. Maybe the reason is that they had to execute a little bit of a victory dance because the Punisher got taken down so quickly that they even have another tower to hold on here. One of the two. Up to the top lane, Tracer is actually a little bit damaged here and had to tap at the fountain. Wubby then again should be fine, since there's not really a lot of mana on Blaze either, so he should be able to hold the experience here without any problem whatsoever. Even at the bottom of the map, there's not really a lot of potential for another kill here, so I think after moving back from this position, they're going to be alright. The main problem that we're actually having right now for the Vikings is that in terms of experience, they've fallen behind by half a level. Now, that in and of itself is not really a massive problem, but if you coincidence with the level 10 around Shrine number 2, then it starts to become more of an issue. So once that level 10 is reached from Feel the Heat, there's a small opportunity for them to use that window where they have their heroic abilities to push maybe behind a fort, but, well, maybe just force a fight and get a few more kills and therefore extend that lead a little bit more than it already is. Their problem is more so that in the late game, the Vikings seem to be superior. And I mean, it doesn't really come as a big surprise. Smexy, Breez, and Wubby have obviously played together for a long time. Marke has played on a very high level and is absolutely capable of pulling all of this off. Berghult always on the verge of making it into HGC here, and with really good performance after that. So it's not really a surprise that in the late game coordination, these guys are doing fantastically. So if they get those kills again, like they did in game number 1, and might end up with another team wipe, they have a chance of just coming back from any position, I'd say. So for Feel the Heat, it is more so important that they're not slipping at any point. If they start, for example, to take a lead into the mid game, but then later on in the game are a bit more sloppy in the team fights themselves, that could be an issue. But for now, they are the ones carrying a little bit of momentum into that mid-game. And if they can hold on to that, they might just have a chance to force game number 3 out of this. So we'll see how this is going to work out for now. I mean, right now, things are kind of fine. There's the push at the bot lane. And I like that the Vikings are actually attempting to go for counter-aggression, especially since they're putting Greymane now in a position where he can just like really play to his strength against structures. So that makes them close that gap a little bit more quickly than I expected. But here comes the aggression. Ana with an early damage point against her. And, well, there we go. The attack is in, and there's a little bit more damage against them. In the meantime, Wubby is rotating to the top. This time actually with the Enduring Swarm here, and also heading into the Symbiosis at this point. So a bit of a cooldown reduction. Great for the AoE on the Shrine fights in particular, whenever it comes to that. So in that sense, he can really help them to get those objectives in the later stage of the game. In any fight. Yeah, Kievan needs to be careful here. If Breez at this point had the reset on the Shadow Charge, he would have definitely gotten a kill with another wall stun. And that is exactly why Breez is so feared on this particular hero. But let's see. What else do we have with that? Again, the attack down at the bottom. The camp still goes to the Vikings. Yeah, they're not committing to this too hard. But look at the experience. Level 10 is about to come in. And then the only question is really, what do you do with that? Do you just let it slide and you're not really going for any direct push? Or are you just saying, okay, let's try and, well, maybe dive a fort, go for a kill and play around that somehow? Because right now, with Heroics, they haven't really made any attempts just yet. And they're starting to at least have a bit of a look after defending the camp at the bottom. But now that another one has been taken by the Vikings, it means that they have to defend this. Arrow gets thrown out and misses completely. Totally fair as a play. Not really a big problem. Even if the Shrine would get announced right now, that cooldown once the Shrine is active would be really low. So it's just them taking a chance. High risk, high reward. Didn't pay off. Doesn't matter, since he won't need it until then. And as you can tell, 45 seconds, another 30 until the Shrine's up. But can't use it in that little battle. We have actually Breez executing a bit of a play here. Once again, the bomb against Smexy. Aggression comes in as the rest of the team comes through. Feel the Heat is trying to get a lockdown against someone here. Tranquility in play, and there's the bunker. Already getting used. 3 kills against 0 still. But the fight for the next Shrine is going to start in just a second. And Sanctification is still up. So is the Nana boost. In terms of talents, we have them ready. And all the AoE that we've been talking about for the Vikings is now being put to the test here. As they're starting to take a small lead. The wall is done against Tracer. And there she goes. You can't give Breez an opening like that. He gets the Shadow Charge and he just waits for Tracer to make the move. And then immediately Kira is just getting squashed there, and that puts an immediate stop to all the ambitions that we had for the red team for objective number 2. Nicely done by Breez. Absolutely no chance for Feel the Heat there. They have to let this one slide, and it is an Arcane Punisher as well. So, with that now said, we're having Khaldor already in the position. We're having Wit here too, trying to defend. They're waiting for Tracer, obviously. We're having the main poke on the side of, well, Hanzo. And what are they going to pull off with this? They're going to get the fort. First one in the game, by the way. Already abandoned, more or less. Greymane in the middle. Dehaka at the top right now. And, well, when we look over to the damage, Dehaka with 50,000 on the wave clear. 68,000 by Blaze, thanks to the oil spill that he has. But yeah, the entire setup with Dehaka in particular obviously helping them to also get better access towards the objective itself. Thanks to the AoE talent focus that he has taken in this game. And the playstyle so far warrants for that. 7 stacks also for Malfurions, trying to get Broccoli into Mini Groot. So far we don't have that. Let's see. Bot lane is getting defended. In the meantime, Breez is already hunting for a few more targets with his Diablo plays here. Is also ensuring that nobody is going for this. And they're starting to jump in. Wubby needs the grenade and gets it from Smexy. For just a second, it looked a little bit iffy. But they're getting a second fort here. Or if they don't, then it will be close. Arrow is connecting though. But the bunker is through. In comes Anna. And Backhold survives, but barely. Smexy keeping it in play. And there's the Tranquility. Yes, we have the Sanctification on the ground. The kill against the Arca is the first one. Backhold might be a second one to fall, as we're having Blaze just charging into empty space with a bit of a zoning jet propulsion. Not connecting with anybody there. They got kill number 1, and they might get kill number 2. Jet propulsion in. Roots on the ground. Wit is getting put into a bit of an awkward spot here underneath the fort, but able to jump out again. And with 4 kills against 1, the level 13 talent advantage goes to Feel the Heat. But you look over to the structures on the map, and the first thing that comes to mind is, well, 2 are missing for Feel the Heat. Yep, bit of a problem for them. So, topside play now. We'll be actually continuing with this. Primal Swarm now for him as well. Definitely not the traditional build, the Haka build that you see there. Again, it is Infernal Shrine, so if on any map it makes a bit of sense, and it's on this one. And so far it's working out for him. Then again, it's also Wubby, so that's another indicator there. Ninja Assassin already taken. Still an oxymoron. I mean, like Ninja Assassin, it's like wet water. It's the same thing, dude. So, yeah, I don't know. With that said, we're having still even talents because of those extra structures that have been taken down and the increase in passive experience that we are seeing thanks to that. Same time now, though, still the camps taken. And this actually is a huge deal. I mean, just let's look at the experience for just a second. Look at Mercenary experience. Look at that massive, massive gap in the Mercenary experience. This is actually crazy. Because we have seen so many camps taken the entire game long by the Vikings, and Feel the Heat was barely able to take any camp. And obviously there's a lot more to it than just the experience lead that you get around that, because those camps also push the lanes out. So that's one of the reasons why we still find ourselves in this situation, despite the fact that the kill count is heavily in favor of Feel the Heat. A bit of a scout going, and there's another cap that they're trying to get right now, and they might be able to pull it off. The problem is Sanctification and Bunker are all up. There's the wall stun against Wit. Sanctification is through. Arrow comes in. That's a bomb. That should be a kill. Backhold survives. And Tyrael with a final blow. The immediate sword to the throat of Jaina and decapitating her right away. Jaina losing all that blonde hair and dying a painful death. Wubby goes down too. And yeah, well, if you let Jaina feel the heat, of course she's melting away. I mean, she's the Ice Princess, if anything. So there's no chance there against that. Blaze should actually be hard counter against her if you think about that. So with this now said, topside aggression, and Wit now in a position where with a 5 versus 3 on the map, he can give his team an easy lead on objective number 3. They're gaining momentum, boys. They're gaining momentum, boys. Right now, Wit, X-Ray, and Khaldor at the spot to Loof, then again, defending the bot lane. And obviously it's a 4 versus 4 topside now. Actually it's a little bit more than that, because Tracer is also still in the middle. So despite the fact that we have still one hero down, the Haka can burrow in, and they already get the kill against Malfurion. A little bit too cocky, a little bit too far out there. Smexy still alive, and again, Breez trying to play ping pong now that he has his level 16 talent and is looking for the resets. Kierva needs a heal, and he needs it desperately, but Malfurion is down. At least the fountain is still there, but the play against Blaze. Oh my god! The bunker! And then the save as we have Kierva diving in deep for a kill against Jaina. Blaze is down, but the Punisher isn't taken yet either. So, with that said, what else are we going to get there at the top? Wubby coming in, Make is ready too, and they seem to be getting another one. Yeah, again, domination and devastating charge. If you have a great Diablo player, once he is level 16, he's just going to get one reset kill after another. And just look at Breez, he's looking for it again, and he's getting massive value out of that setup. Breez is doing just so well here. Also explains his level 1 talent choice, obviously. Smexy right now in a bit of trouble, but he's the only one. Wubby is actually eating a lot of damage, as we're speaking about that. 16 versus 16 now. And we're having Blaze coming back too, and they're actually bringing the fight to them. The Vikings are all of a sudden in trouble as we're having the rest of the red team jumping in deep for the kill against Wubby, and maybe a little bit more. Kiva is looking for another one. He can't find it here, but a great setup for him once again. So yeah, nicely played. And Diablo, right now, 24,000 damage, is actually looking pretty good here. But it still doesn't matter when your opponent is taking the kills. And with 8 against 3, there's absolutely no doubt who's so far winning the team fights. Now, on the map, obviously, it's a different story. I mean, 2 forts are down and the wall at the bottom lane has been broken through too. But thanks to the Punisher that they just took topside, they will at least be able to take 1 fort down. And they might be able to get a little bit more out of that as well. So we'll see if that works out for them. Make is already taking some camps here. And that just continues the trend that I highlighted earlier. I mean, just look at the camps on the map. They took everything. Every camp. Mercenary control on the side of Feel the Heat is pretty much non-existent. There's 3 camps now pushing, and Toulouf is just sitting there playing PvE the entire game long because he needs to deal with all of that. Which means that the bot lane push is pretty much at an end because they can't just leave. Well, they have to leave the Punisher alone. They can't leave the lanes alone. But they at least are aiming for a second structure, and that is the one in the middle right now. So that's exactly where we currently have them. Now, 2 forts down. Need to deal with the bot lane still, but then we'll go from there. So yeah, the macro aspects and also the coordination are ready. I mean, with this we have actually even the sacrificial soul there. Don't see that really too often, but if you see how Breez is playing that hero and if you consider the map, then the choice makes a little bit more sense. The Feast on Fear here too, full focus into the setup. And as I explained already in the draft and as the game started, Breez is insane on this hero. And he's already been proving this a few times in this game. I mean, Kierva alone doesn't dive as deep anymore as he did previously, just simply because he's been punished multiple times by Breez, and Breez has set up a lot of kills for his teammates with this. But the game is far from being over. It's the late game that I was worried about when it comes to Feel the Heat, if you might recall my early assessment of this, for exactly that coordination. And we are starting to enter the late game. Especially the next objective is going to be important. And finally we're having Feel the Heat attempting to get at least some macro control by going for mercenaries themselves. When it comes to the damage output, we can also take another quick look at this, and for now, we're actually still seeing 107,000 damage here. Breez hasn't died, by the way. Breez hasn't died. Neither has Tyrael, so both of them have still been alive for the entire game. Both teams, by the way, have 1 hero that hasn't died yet. Bit of a trap setup here. Yeah, if you walk into that one, you're just dead meat. I don't care who you are. You have a cursed bullet headed your way. You have more burst damage from backholds Jaina. And let's not forget the potential of a nano boost that can hit if Smexy is present. Both teams with 2 forts taken down, and both teams trying to go for level 20 and patiently waiting to see the next objective spawn. With this said, at the bottom of the map, Toulouf still trying to at least push the lane out to make sure that that keep is not under more pressure than it needs to be, because that was a huge problem here. And X-Ray is just waiting at the camp, whereas Wit is trying to anchor the plane, make sure that nobody can move in and take it away from them. So, with that either, down at the bottom of the map, Kierva is currently sitting in his spot. Hanzo with a couple of very nice arrows so far in the game, by the way. Has done fairly well here. A couple of really, really good stuns that came out, especially to shut down opportunities from the Vikings. And there's a little bit more camp control. I like it. At this point, they're really starting to go for the camps a little bit more diligently, and it's needed. It's 20 versus 20, and after the nano boost, we're seeing the upgrade into the nano infusion right there. Also, Holy Arena, another stun with the bullseyes coming through. And we're talking about mid lane again. Wubby is all the way up at the top with the Haka and is already making sure that he's not getting attacked here anytime soon. Problem is, of course, the Contagion now. If Wubby gets a good one off, then that could ruin the red team. It could ruin Feel the Heat, and they know that as well. They have Fortified Bunker, and they have Get Stuffed, so there's a huge kill potential for them now too. And there's the attack. Terror this time doesn't get the stun. Breez not successful with this particular move, but still sitting there, is trying to push the Loof back in, and already the old use from Wubby. That's a bit of an issue. Here comes the arrow, and that could be a kill. He gets away with a burrow, but the follow-up is there. The jet propulsion. Maka is low and survives somehow, but Jaina is dead. Jaina down and a bit more Hanzo damage, and all of a sudden Feel the Heat in the lead with the 5 versus 4 on the map and the potential to take this Punisher. Topside pressured in the meantime by the Shamans, as down to the bottom we have with the Hellgate. Breez making another attempt at the play, gets the Apocalypse out there trying to escape. Good hits from him, but not enough. The Loof is low and so is Wit, but the shields are out. And in comes the ult from Tyrael. It's back to business. They are ahead and they claim it. They take their Punisher, and there it is. Nicely done. 9 kills against 3, and good late game effort here by Feel the Heat as they're pushing it again. Blaze had to move back though, trying to save the keep that they have. And up at the top lane, as mentioned previously, we still have the Shamans ready for Feel the Heat too. Getting some damage in, starting to take a few of those out. But the question is, of course, can the bot lane be held by the Vikings? Can Feel the Heat push through and grab it? They're pushing in for sure. And down here, they even leave that catapult alive. Not so sure about that decision. I mean, eventually it's going to fall, but it's going to do some damage before that happens. There are no reinforcement waves coming through because they're getting blocked down here. And they obviously are trying to push with the 5-man that they have. Topside, Shaman is also getting some pressure in, but they need something done, and that catapult is wrecking the bottom right keep as we speak. The wave is finally coming in. Here comes the attack, and they're trying to go for way more, maybe even the victory here. Punisher jumps in, wants a piece of the action. Breez is in trouble and trying to get out. Breez is low. Breez is low. Blaze is dead, and Breez alive. Oh my god, Diablo sustaining himself through all of this. The Holy Arena on the ground. The Haka nearly taken down, but he survives as well. And we walk away as 2 of the keeps are severely damaged on the side of the Vikings, but both of them still standing. And down to the bottom right of the map, we have a lot of damage on this one now too. 9 kills against 4. Putting Blaze down was definitely the major point here in that last fight. And Breez not falling, of course, as well. Still on 100 souls, and therefore a pretty heavy hit point pool for him. Nice support there also from Anna the entire time, keeping them alive. And here comes the aggression as the Vikings are saying, well, we're gonna take that keep now. Thank you very much for playing, but this one's ours. With another 14 seconds on Blaze, that shouldn't be a problem for them whatsoever. Already moving in with the Haka. Here comes the catapult. They're trying to claim this one, and they should be able to. Bullseye is hitting backhold. That's not going to be enough, can tell you that much already. Mark not even jumping in. Why would he? Gets attacked, don't gets taken down, gets stuffed, baby, as Tracer comes in. The arrow is missing. The water elemental is out to play now too. Backhold, nano boosted, trying to get the kill, and Wit might fall, but it's the tranquility that keeps him alive. Apocalypse in, doesn't hit anything, and now they're on the hunt again, and Backhold will fall. And after Greymane has died, Jaina is not looking much better. The Haka is also down, and guys, this could be game. This could be game. Smexy is on the run, the Grandma eliminated, and the only one who's still in play for the blue team is Diablo. The pings are in, and they are going for the final action of the game here. They want game number 3, and it looks like they are going to get game number 3. 3 heroes haven't died yet, Hanzo, Tyrael, and Dibbles, but it's doubtful that Diablo will be able to hold them off long enough. 10 seconds for Greymane, but the rest of the team is dead for much longer. There's the Holy Arena. They're starting to burn the shields down. They're going for Diablo. He still has the souls together. Keep that in mind. But that is the end of this. Greymane moving in, Diablo back. Greymane trying to get a kill there, but the shields are falling. That's not the only thing. They're just burning that core down, and Muck is about to fall now too with Greymane eliminated. That's 15 kills against 4, 40% on the core, and that is it. Dibbles about to die, this time for real. No souls, no win, baby. And that is game as we are heading into game number 3 of the series here between the Vikings and Feel the Heat. GG and well played. Time to rock and roll, everybody. Vikings against Feel the Heat, game 3 on Cursed Hollow. We had a little bit of a wait for this one, because initially Berghult actually said, well, boys, I have to go. My girlfriend just called me. She said her parents aren't at home. We have like the entire house to ourselves, and I can't pass up on that. So yeah, I'm leaving right now. But as it turned out, they weren't allowed to get a sub player for the game, and it looked for a little bit like we would see a free win for Feel the Heat, and then Berghult just cancelled his real life because let's be honest here for a second. The graphics are awesome, but real life is heavily overrated. I mean, the gameplay, you know, it's just a little bit too upsetting sometimes. So Berghult just focused on the things that mattered most, and as we all know, that's video gaming. So, Cursed Hollow is the map. Berghult with the boys trying to win game number 3, and I'm actually happy that we're not only getting a third game, but that's going to take place on Cursed Hollow. When it comes to the ban pattern, then again, what are we going to get? The ban against Samuro again? I would not be shocked. I would actually more or less expect a Samuro ban here after game number 1. And well, there's the Tracer bans. That's the first one that we start things off with. Gotta address Kiewa somehow, and I mean, Kiewa's heroes have now been banned out in game number 2 and game number 3. There's the Vala ban again. I want to hand that over to their opponent. So Breez and Wubby are ready, and already the Dibbles play of Breez was pretty impactful in game number 2. Couldn't really help them to win the game then, at the end of the day though. And let's see what we have with this one. Is it a Samuro ban? Are they risking it? Are they okay with the global being played here? This is a much bigger map than what we had previously, and there's the Samuro ban. Alright, so Kiewa is going to be a bit of an unhappy panda. Talking pandas. Panda not banned out. We had Chen banned out in the previous game, and now that's not the case because Abatha takes a bit of a priority. So all of a sudden we have a completely different hero pool open here. And I'm intrigued. I want to see what's going to happen with this. Are we going to see Chen played? That's the big one. Or what else is going to be being done right now? I mean, the offlane at least is going to be different. We even had Urel banned against Wubby, but there's the Malfurion pick again. We saw something previously similar from Feel the Heat as they went into the old geezer with the green beard in the previous game. Malfurion's a little bit Wayne, you know, like, I mean, dude, seriously, if your beard is gray, nobody really cares. If you already dyed black, then it's a little bit weird, but if you go for green, that just makes you a tree hugger, nothing else. So, ETC gets picked by Wit, and we have also Hanzo, and that Hanzo play in game number 2 was one of the reasons why it was tough for the Vikings. I mean, he started with the first kill, and added many more as the game continued with a couple of nicely connected arrows too that allowed them for multiple kills there. ETC now in with potential stage dive. He would also make for a fantastic offlaner again. Gives him flexibility in the draft. Pretty much what Granite Gaming does a lot. And Wubby, okay. Breez on Garrosh and Wubby on Blaze. And Breez is gonna like that. Has been bantering around in the lobby a little bit previously. So again, Wubby and Breez are both on a Danish LAN apparently. I actually don't know what for. To my knowledge, Breez is still playing in a Smite team full-time and quite successful there as well. But obviously, he's also living in Denmark right now. I guess Wubby is currently visiting, and they decided to go to a LAN and have a bit of fun there, now playing together with the Vikings in the tournament here. So Jaina gets banned out. In this case, there's no lockdown attempt with, like, Blaze with the jet propulsion, Malfurion coming in with the roots, and then Jaina with the damage, and the ban against Tyrael. Well, no more shields in this game. So what's the strategy for Feel the Heat? What are they going to do this time? They definitely have to change things up a bit. They already are going up against a very, very strong front line. Damage output, I'm not really worried for the Vikings at all, because if anything, Marka has shown that he has a pretty deep hero pool that he can play. They had a focus on Greymane, which we could still see taken away from Feel the Heat, but there's also Li Ming to consider, which is another... And Lulcio is getting played. Lulcio and Chen. Not the perfect color for Chen here with this one, but again, we're having the Panda in play, and especially with the triple Panda, Storm, Earth, and Fire, whew, backline beware. Lulcio can be quite powerful. That's something that we actually talked about in the past. I mean, again, you kind of want the hero in the hands of a player that actually knows what he's doing with it, but Lulcio can be useful. Especially compare him to a hero that is useless, like Brightwing, for example. Greymane and Greymane and Li Ming both getting picked. I mean, I just talked about them. And what's the last pick in terms of damage for Feel the Heat? Honestly, if Greymane wasn't already picked for the Vikings, I would say we would see him by Feel the Heat. Just trying to maybe rotate a little bit quicker with Lucio, trying to bring Greymane in a good position to raise down structures. That would be one of the plays that was possible. But let's head into this. We have our last pick right now. Falstad, the bird. Alrighty. So taking to the skies here, big map, a lot of globals for them, having the Panda too. A little more solid combo for the Vikings, but feel that he has a lot of potential with this as well. Game number 3 coming up now. Let's see which team advances to the next round of the tournament, ladies and gentlemen. Game on! Vikings against Feel the Heat, first round of the tournament. We already have a highlight. To the left, in blue, the Swedes, with Macke on Greymane, Smexy on Malfurion, Berkhold on Liming, Terror on Garrosh, aka Breez, and Wubby on Breez. And over to the right side of the map, X-Ray on Lucio. For Feel the Heat, we have Toulouse on Chen, Kirva on Falstad, Kolios on Hanzo, and Wit is playing ETC. Ready to rock and roll, everybody. What are we gonna get? Is the Blue-Red team actually able to take down the Swedes in this tournament already in the first round? Or are they gonna be shut down now on Cursed Hollow? At this point, we're having Kirva on Falstad with a spray game immediately. Variant question mark? Well, the answer to that question is in 99.9% no. Just simply no. So, yeah, especially if there's no trace on the other side. But with that said, top lane, that's a lot of pressure against the wave. So, yeah, you need to be a little bit careful. Can't let Greymane get on those structures. That was a weird one, but alright. So, for the time being, we're gonna keep our eye also on the Lucio plays here. I mean, again, Hero is a little bit better now, but trying to rush around there. And honestly, again, rotations can be quite nice. Keep in mind, ever since we actually have seen the 10% movement speed increase for every single hero across the board, the distances, obviously, on those big maps have become a little bit smaller, so you can cross the map a lot faster, and that actually makes a difference if you're on a map like Cursed Hollow. Let's say, for example, you are on the boss and your opponent starts their own boss on the other side of the map a little bit later. You can make that rotation a lot faster, especially if you're also running Lucio, and all of a sudden we're talking about a potential gank that wouldn't have happened before those big changes. That is pretty important to note here, since this is probably one of the maps where we will feel that change the most, given the right circumstances. So camps are taken. The first objective is going to spawn at the bottom of the map, and already a very early siege giant camp here from the Vikings. That should be taken down pretty quickly. The problem is that it's not only the siege giants that they have to take care of, they also have to take care of the 3 heroes that are pushing the top side. And after taking the middle mercenary camp here, the bruiser camp, we are finally having Falstad rotating in and trying to help Chen out. But the wall has already been broken down slightly. Tower number 1 is down. Level 4 abilities are in. And we're waiting for the first tribute, as we have Chen now, again with a deadly strike here. Started off with the Eye of the Tiger. And the move up into the middle with a camp and the spell protection aura that they have now too. By the way, dominance for Berkhold, having at the same time also our little setup with ETC already sitting at the side here, whipped on the soap bar, trying to clean house here in those fights. But especially the bird needs to be cautious. Honestly, that is really a bit my concern here. I mean, Falstad can be quite powerful. The problem is if you're going up against the Liming and Greymane composition and that bird oversteps just once, that he goes straight back into the KFC bucket and is going to make for a delicious dinner, not much more. Because Falstad isn't really showing us a big hero pool or anything. So I'm a bit afraid for Kirva in the later stages of the game. There's a lot of squishies for them. Let's see if they can actually play around that. The Panda's in action, but ETC! ETC you later! Macke with the first kill here, thanks to Greymane. A little bit of poke down to the bottom. But the tribute got taken, that's at least something. Now Feel the Heat, they got the tribute. There's a kill for the Vikings. And here comes the push right there. With Macke also taking a little bit of damage, but the tower is down regardless. Now Blaze has taken over the top side. And Lucio goes down, but so does Malfurion. So Malfurion with a little bit of a rain dance after he took Lucio down, showing him who's a real support. And then the tower fires back immediately. Either way, Mark is fine. But yeah, support for support. By the way, a full focus into the lightning rod build. Now, this is a bit of an interesting one, because I've been actually ranting and raving in ARAMs and also some amateur games lately about players that don't take Boomerang on level 7. Like, Secret Weapon in particular is just an absolute noob trap, and everybody who takes that needs to be crucified, in my opinion, on the altar of heroes or something. But this is the one exception where I can actually say I might not personally think it's the necessarily best build. I still think the Boomerang is probably still fantastic there. But if you're going into a full Lightning Rod build, the level, and you need the range as well, because you're going up against heroes that can blow you up immediately, I actually will allow the level 7 without going into an immediate frenzy. So in Kieva's case, that is making some sense. We've seen this build in the past, so this is not the first time that someone specs into this. Honestly, anything outside of Secret Weapon is just fantastic, and yeah. But if I take that talent, I need a bucket because the bile is just building up in my mouth and I want to just puke. So with that, we're having still ETC taken down. He seems to be a bit like the punching ball of the blue team right now. That's the second time now that he's fallen. And that is becoming a problem because they have trouble with their front line and keeping them alive. So with this, we're now having Falstad down to the bottom of the map again. Already the Siege Giants are starting to push that in. Top side, Chen is trying to defend this a little bit against Taluf. But Kolios is helping out now, and that's all that they need for now. Kieva is trying to use the globals, and the decision on level 10 is going to make a bit clearer on how exactly Feel the Heat wants to approach this. There are interrupts available, especially around Li Ming, who can go into the wave of force against the mosh pit, but if they go stage dive, then they have a lot of globals here. Now, Wit is sniffing that out, and those rotations and the movement speed, they are important now, and that boss has already been reduced to a 50% health, so that is important here. So let's actually see how much they're going to commit to this. Wubby is currently facing off against Chen in the middle of the map, but down here at the bottom, are they going to let the boss leash? What's going to happen here? They're willing to fight for this one, and guys, level 10 abilities are super close for both of them. Probably a little bit closer for the Vikings, but there they are, both have it. And that gives us the fight that we've been waiting for. Arrow in, boss taken, Breez alive. Garrosh hasn't fallen. Here comes the Triple Panda, but the boss has already been secured as they're trying to at least go for a kill. They're diving in deep, breaking the bunker down, backhold. There's the Gust. They're trying to create a little bit more space as the sound barrier comes through, but ETC is dead again. Third time that he has fallen. The Panda isn't looking too healthy either. But Loof is trying to jump out. There's a throw to the front as they're attempting to get Smexy into a position where he can lay down the lawn again. But Chen dies without Malfurion even interfering. Bot lane getting pressured and they're diving behind the fort itself. Yep, that's where we have the action right now. 5 kills against 1 and they're just looking fantastic here. They're trying more kills. X-Ray is going for the French defense, aka he's running away. And well, Lucio is obviously one of the best heroes to pull that one off. And Kolios is just caught at the wrong side of the map here, and he's obviously going to die. So another staggered death for them. And that's that. So nicely done. 6 kills against 1. A bit ahead in experience, taking the fort at the bottom of the map. Solid start. Vikings want to head into the next round of the tournament. So far they're doing well with this. Up to the top of the map. Kieva has taken the position again, is trying to do his thing here. But let's look at the damage output. Yeah, 9,000 damage for Falstad, 10k for Hanzo, and Greymane is sitting at 9,000. So damage is actually pretty similar across the board here for the players. But obviously a big difference in kills now. Malfurion is putting Lucio to shame. Not that it's hard or anything, I'm just saying. Tripling his damage, nearly. And the attempt to get the boss at the top. Which they should be able to pull off, but again, ETC isn't there, but he went into stage dive, so he has the global, can come in whenever he wants. They're starting to jump, bunker is in, stage dive comes through, they're trying to go for the boss, but the fight is already on, and here comes Breez together with Backhold as they're trying to go for the nice ult for Malfurion, and the triple kill. 3-for-1 trade. The bird takes down Malfurion, but Bakul is already trying to go for Kolios. Is missing his combos though. Oh, but Hanzo gets thrown and Hanzo gets taken down. Stick that bow where the sun don't shine, Borby. 13 against 12. That's the levels now. 10 kills against 2. And the Swedes are definitely ramping it up here. And the red team is feeling the heat for sure. That's a talent advantage right now, and it is an absolute disaster. Mid lane about to be taken out. There's another camp pushing, and they're already knocking at the doors of the keeps itself. Nicely done here by the Swedes. Breez at the front. The bird with a kill, though, against Berkult. Well, that was at least one, but the boss is still active, and that's not the only thing. The bot lane is pushing with the help of Catapult, so that's a problem. And in the middle of the map, we're seeing the fort taken down. We're having the keep immediately assailed, or at least the wall. The boss still active topside. That's now 10 kills against 3, and things are looking fantastic for the Swedes. They're starting to move through that once more. Like hot butter through cheese are they going through the keep in the middle of the map. At the top, the boss is still trying to do the exact same thing and eliminate another major structure of the red team, and things are looking dicey. Mid keep gone, top lane attack, and that should be a kill. That could be a kill, but there comes at least... it's not enough. The Mighty Gus is not enough. Hanzo still falls, and they are going for another keep. Double stun! The bird is down as Greymane goes in for the throat. Yes, Smexy attacked in the back, and well, at least the Pandas are having some fun here. Or do they? No, they don't. Chen is down. And that should also be the end of the keep. And guys, they lost the one at the bottom of the map too. So that's 3 keeps down. That should be core. The core already has suffered a lot of damage thanks to the catapults. Is at 50%. And that is game as the Swedes achieve victory with a 2-1 against Feel the Heat. Yep, Macke has the damage. Even with 2 falling, there's no problem for them. And that is it. 2-1 win for the Vikings over Feel the Heat on Cursed Hollow.